How to deal with marijuana cravings, especially after getting sober. So an old coaching client reached out to me the other day and said, hey man, I'm a few months sober and I'm starting to crave it a little bit. We've been in communication since our coaching ended, and he had been saying that, he really wasn't feeling cravings. However, now that he's a couple months in, he's starting to feel them a little bit. And it really made me reflect, okay, so what could that be? What could the reason be behind that? And we haven't gotten to talk yet, but I wanted to make this video to kind of address some of those things that I would talk to him about if we were to have that one-on-one coaching session. So the first thing I would be asking is, are you remembering your purpose? Are you remembering your why to why you quit marijuana? And from what this person shared with me when we did our coaching is that there was a lot of negative consequences happening in his life that were kind of too obvious to miss, right? Like the universe was like, hey buddy, like you can't keep getting away with this. Like I'm trying to warn you gently, but I have to keep poking you a little harder each time. And each time, yeah, it hurt a little more. So remembering why you're deciding to quit marijuana, why you wanted that freedom in the first place. Did you want the relationships? Did you want the freedom from the stress of constantly thinking about smoking? Freedom from the obsession of the mind, freedom to sleep better, wanting to go be able to exercise again, eat really healthy, not have the munchies all the time, stop being lazy, reconnect with friends and family. These are all reasons I see a lot of why people decide to quit marijuana. They're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe that's the reason, and that's good enough in itself. They're just tired of being miserable. And I think once a couple of months go by, that memory can fade of like, oh, I forgot how miserable I was. So the next thing I would do is remind the person, hey, remember how bad it sucked. And sometimes you don't want to do that because it sucked really bad. But in doing that, you remember, oh yeah, I was absolutely miserable. I was having bad things happen to me left and right. I was getting injured. I was losing money, whatever the situation may be. If you can really remember that and remember how bad it was, then that can be enough to really make you go, oh yeah, right. Like this reality is way better. Even though it might be painful and there's a lot of stuff I have to work on, it's way better than the misery I was in before marijuana recovery. The next thing I would recommend doing is making sure that you're doing all the things that got you sober in the first place, right? Making sure you're exercising, eating well, talking to people, other like-minded people in recovery, going to support groups if that's something that really resonates with you. I know it did for me. Maybe getting another coaching session if you did work with a coach for that one-on-one support. A lot of different things that you can do to make sure that you're staying healthy, staying positive, make sure you're getting good sleep, journaling, meditation, all the things that I really recommend doing and that I do on a day-to-day basis, because I know if I don't, I start to get squirrely. I start to feel not so good in my body. And so these are all maintenance things that you may have to do for the rest of your life. I've accepted that fully, and I do them every day on a regular basis, whether it be meditation, journaling, fitness, exercise, making sure I'm eating right, staying away from that gross processed food. That's really gonna kill your mood. I think meditation is a big one too, so hop back in meditation, really dive deep into yourself. The next thing I would recommend, and this is a really important one, and it might not be the most fun or simple, but I think it is necessary, and that's really starting to work on some of those deep core issues that led you to use marijuana in the first place. Maybe some trauma that was there, maybe some feelings of inadequacy from elementary school, middle school, any of those younger years, right? Really starting to be honest and look at yourself and look at those situations and how they're playing out in your life. Of course, you can only do one by one, so there might be a lot of stuff, so don't feel overwhelmed. Just like with recovery, it being one day at a time, so is trauma and healing work, one day at a time. So maybe getting a therapist, maybe reaching out for somebody in the counseling field to help walk you through some of those things. Some things that really helped me work on my trauma were, one, EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So basically you follow a light or like a finger back and forth while you go through a core memory. And what it does is it helps kind of unlock it from that stuck state. So that was really helpful. The other thing that was really helpful was, one, talk therapy. That was important. I don't think it's healthy to be in talk therapy for 20 years and then you finish and there's you don't really find answers. So what I did is then I went to do neurofeedback, which is basically they put electrodes to your head and it kind of rewires some of those alpha, beta, gamma wave states that are destroyed or injured in traumatic experiences, and it helps kind of make those come back online. That really helped as well. I felt a lot better. Also, going through the recovery program and doing the work around, okay, how did I behave in the past that led me to the situation I am? Taking full responsibility for my entire life, making amends to people that I have hurt. That really helped as well. Start to move forward. Work on my resentments. Really be honest about what am I angry about? Who don't I like? Institutions, people, places, things. Why don't I like them? And then how did I play a role in not liking them, which might not make sense, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, they hurt me. There's always two to tango. And yeah, maybe they did hurt you unfairly and unjustly. Well, then your responsibility is not forgiving them. Or maybe it's your responsibility that you didn't recognize the red flags in this person from the get-go, which again, it's not a critique, it's just an honest assessment of the situation and your part in it. And once you say, okay, yeah, you're right, maybe I didn't choose the best friends, maybe I only wanted this person because they, gave me something and I got something that I really wanted in return. And once you can really be honest with that, something will unlock. It's a miracle. It's like a spiritual awakening. It's like, wow, like I don't have to carry this around anymore. I'm a free person to move on. So those are some things that I would really recommend doing if you're a few months in, a couple months in, and you're struggling to feel better. You're still having cravings come up here or there. Really take a look at all that stuff. And if you do want someone to talk through and help work through this with you, find a plan of action that you can take, someone that can help guide you, then I invite you to book a call with me personally for one-on-one coaching. We'll hop on a call together, whether you book a single session or just an initial consult, and we can really set a plan for you to start feeling better and start working on some of those things that might be holding you back from living your best life in recovery. It takes about 30 days to get through that initial hump, which I've said before on this channel. It takes about 3 months to start the cravings to start to go away. And then if they do come up, it means, like I'm saying before, there may be some trauma and some things to work through that has not been addressed yet. And that might be bubbling up because the weed, in a sense, was suppressing them. So if it's coming up for you, I would say just, embrace it, accept it the best you can. It's a good thing it's happening because it means you're growing and you're ready to process this stuff that has potentially been holding you back subconsciously or consciously for most of your life. And then from there, it does take a couple years to, I would really say, get on your own feet to where you can really be able to say, okay, this was the past. This was a memory. This was something that I used to do, and now I'm in this whole new realm and reality. And once again, you can book a call with me down below, and we can start working on this to get you that help and get you that support you need to start living an awesome and amazing life, which is the reason why you quit marijuana in the first place. So with that, guys, comment down below if you have any thoughts, subscribe if you do, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.